Okay, very good. Now, just 1 second. Okay, now all of you switch on your videos. Okay, so we were talking about the fertilizers, isn't it? So let's talk more about the fertilizers. So can you tell me, were fertilizers all made, like were they all natural or not?
Sorry, ma'am, can you repeat?
Fertilizers, are they natural products or are they not natural products?
Not natural.
Okay, very good. So basically, we saw that by the, see, for example, if we are using fertilizer, then obviously it would, give some nutrients to the plant, definitely. But again, if we start overusing it, using it unnecessarily and, overdoing it, then fertilizers will start causing water pollution. It will start causing soil pollution. Apart from that, the fertilizers, they destroy the soil fertility after continued use. Like if you are growing a tree or growing a crop in a particular land and you keep on using the fertilizers, right? So because of that continued use, the soil fertility will be lost. Why? Because
Yeah.
here the organic matter which is present in the soil, it is no more replenished. And also, if we use a lot of fertilizers, then the microorganisms that are naturally present in the soil, they will die, right? So because of
Yeah.
this, the soil fertility, meaning the soil will not be fertile anymore. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now, these fertilizers, see, if you want to use it for like once a time, right, for once, then it is amazing. But again, for a long run, is it safe to use fertilizers? Yes or no?
Oh,
No.
no,
Very,
ma'am.
yes. So the fertilizers, they provide only a short-term benefit. Only for a while, it would give a lot of benefits to the plant, but in the longer run, it would be very harmful to the plant, to the crop, to the whole land also. Okay. So now we have seen that we add like organic matter to the soil, we add fertilizers and all sorts of things. But again, what is the solution? When we want to do something that is very safe for the environment, it's good for the crop and everything. So the solution to all our problems of soil fertility, of various types of pollution, is organic farming, isn't it? Organic.
Yeah.
Yes, you might have heard that these things, like for example, any vegetable, people say that these vegetables have been organically grown, meaning
Yeah.
organic farming has been done for them. Okay. Now, what
Okay.
is organic farming? So, it is the farming system with the minimum or no use of chemicals, such as fertilizers, herbicides, pesticides. They are not used at all in the case of organic farming. Organic means original, right? Real.
Yeah.
We only use the real products, we don't use chemicals. Okay. But now, since we don't use fertilizers, we don't use herbicide, pesticide, then instead of that, what do we use? So first of all, we use the organic manure, okay, which is recycled from the waste like straw and livestock excreta. You remember how manure was made, right? It is made by the process of what? Which process makes the manure?
It's made from the factories.
No, it is made by the decomposition process,
Oh,
isn't
yes.
it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
decomposition. Yes. Now, apart from that, we are seeing that during the organic farming, we are using, we are just, just neglecting all sorts of fertilizers. We are neglecting all sorts of herbicides and pesticides. And now, instead of that, we are using organic manure. And this is formed by decomposition. Always remember. When we, do you remember we collected all the animal excreta and everything, we put it under the ground, and after a while, it decomposed and became manure. Okay, do you know what is a straw? The straw that we are talking about here?
No, ma'am.
It's from plants. The
Yeah. Have you seen the food of cows?
yeah,
Hay.
horses, hay.
Hay. That is basically dried grasses, right? Yes,
Yeah.
that is straw. So that is used, that when you recycle a straw, you can get organic manure. And then livestock is basically all those animals that you're raising either for meat or you are raising them for, field work, right? Like for plowing and stuff, we use bulls and stuff. So those are
Yeah.
livestock. And then the excreta is their waste product. So when we use the excreta of the livestock along with the straw, which is hay, you can uh, say that it is hay or you can say that it is dry grasses. So all of these will form the organic manure. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am. There's no doubts.
Okay, so first one was organic manure. Now after that we have bioagents. Now what are bioagents? Bio means living, right? So the
Yeah.
living agents that are used as biofertilizers. Biofertilizers, if we say biofertilizers, here it means that we are using some organism to provide
Yes.
that fertilizing effect. For example, the bioagents like blue-green algae, BGA, blue-green algae, okay? They are used to make the biofertilizer, okay?
Okay.
These biofertilizers, first of all, since they are, algae, will they pollute the soil?
No,
No, they will
No.
not pollute. Very good. Now, first, the second was bioagents. Then the third is, how do we make biopesticides? See, whenever the word bio is coming before something, it means that we are using some biotic things in that. Okay. So, for example, normal pesticides are made from chemicals, isn't it? But here we are not using any chemicals. Instead, we are using biopesticides. Basically, how biopesticides are made? So you either use the neem plant. Neem, neem plant.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes,
I know.
that is used, or turmeric. Turmeric is haldi,
Yeah.
the yellow powder. It also, it comes in a plant. So when that is used as a biopesticide, okay, meaning we are using biological products as a pesticide agent. And when do we use it? So we use it when we store the grains. For example, we have done the farming, we just got the output, right? We got, for example, we got the grains such as wheat grains. Now if we got it in a bulk, we have to store it also, right, for future
Yeah.
use. Yeah.
Yes.
So during that storing process, we require like pesticides so that no pest can attack that. Like there are so many worms that eat,
Yes.
infect whole grain, isn't it? You might
Yeah.
have seen in your home also the box in which your mother keeps the rice. You might have seen small tiny insects in that. Have you ever noticed black insects are
Yeah.
there? It's very tiny. Yes.
Yeah, I have noticed.
A pest. Pest means something that destroys our stuff. That is a pest. So to avoid that pest during the storage of grains, we use biopesticides. What is the meaning of pesticides?
Pesticide is like for um
killing pests. Like,
Hmm. Something that will kill the pest. Pesticide. Okay? Something that will kill the pest. Is it clear? The whole thing is clear? Okay, very good.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, now after this, the fourth method through which we can do organic farming is by using different cropping methods. Okay, under that cropping method comes mixed cropping, intercropping, crop rotation. We will study all of this one by one. Okay, but for now, you should know that for organic farming, we use different cropping methods. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you people have any doubts in this whole fertilizer section?
No, ma'am, I don't have any doubts.
Okay, nobody has? Nabila and Galvin, nobody has any doubts?
no, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now you people can note it down. Then we'll start this topic, irrigation. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Done. Up till here, you're done. Yes, Rima, you're saying something?
Done writing it.
You didn't write? Which part?
Yeah. Just a second, ma'am.
Ma'am, replenish means back to life.
Yes,
Oh,
bringing something back to life.
okay.
Done?
Oh no, ma'am.
You're in the last line.
In second one.
Okay. Done, girls? What about others? Have you done like noting it down? Are you done? Galvin, what about you?
Yes, ma'am, done.
Okay, very good. Okay, so after this, we are going to be talking about irrigation. Okay, done, Rima?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Okay, very good. Now let us talk about irrigation. First of all, you tell me, whenever we plant a seed, right? We put that seed into the ground, isn't it? Then we
Yeah.
cover that seed with the dirt or the soil. Then what is the next step?
Water.
Yeah, we put water on it, right?
Yes.
Yes. But that is for one plant that we do. Now, what about if we put on the whole land, whole crops we have put on a very big
There
land?
will be,
Now, how will
con-
you water it?
there will
Will
be
you put that?
connection from a tank. The water will go to every single plant. Like I saw
Yeah, that
right
is
here.
one case. But see, usually the farming, primarily it was done in the village areas, right? So village areas did not have much of the technologies, right? The whole connection and everything, it was not there. So
But
basically,
here it
how?
is.
Hmm?
But here it is.
Yeah, here now everywhere, even in villages now. See, but
Yeah.
then people relied on the rain, right? The natural shower that comes. So people relied on the rain. And whenever the rain was very good, the crop was very good. But whenever the rain was like, sometimes the rain does not, occur, right? Sometimes it does not rain. So when it did not rain, then the crops suffer because of it. So then different irrigation practices were developed so that in the absence of rain, nothing happens to the crop. Okay. So first you write down about irrigation, that it is the process, it is the process process by which water is supplied, by which water is supplied to the land or crops. Okay, this is the whole irrigation means that the process through which we can supply water to all the crops or to the whole land. This is the irrigation. But again, irrigation, it has to be done very, you can say, intelligently, isn't it? So that even in the absence of rain, meaning when raining is not taking place, and that time also we need to water the plants, because without water the plants will die ultimately, isn't it? So
Yeah.
basically, see what happens in India. There is a very, you can see, wide variety of climatic conditions. In some places, it rains throughout the year. It rains a lot. But again, in some places, like the desert areas, where raining is very, you can say, uncommon. Rain does not occur very easily. and because of that the crops suffer, right? So
Mm.
some irrigation practices were developed so that the cropping system would not suffer. What are those irrigation practices? First is the putting up of wells. Well is the first irrigation practice, right? Well, you understand? Kuma,
Yes.
right? People throw bucket in it and then pull it with the help of a rope. That is a
Yeah.
well, right? Yes. The first one was well. Then second one was dams. Okay, the creation of dams took place. Then there was the creation of canals. Okay, we will be discussing each one of it. Then after that, but before dam also, there was this another thing, a river lift system. Okay, river lift systems, and then after that, the last one, we had tanks. Okay, even like now many houses in India, they have water tanks, right, on the top of
Yeah.
the house that supplies water to the whole pipeline of the house, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
So these are the following ways by which we can irrigate the crops. So let us talk about the first one. So you put the heading as two wells. Let us talk about the wells. Okay. So do you know what wells are? Have you seen well in
Yes, I
diagram
have seen.
pictures, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
Yeah.
very good. Yes. So basically it is nothing but a whole very hollow thing inside the ground, right? It starts from above the ground and then it goes deep inside the ground, and you can even look into it and you will see water in it, and then a bucket is thrown and a water is taken. Yes. So basically these wells, they can be of two types. Okay, the first one was dug wells, then there were tube wells. Okay, so the wells are of two types. First one is dug well, then the next type is tube wells. Okay, so the dug wells, these dug means a well that is formed after digging. Okay, we dug it. Okay, that is the dug well. Now, so basically, if we talk about the dug well, so inside the dug well, the water was collected from water bearing the strata. Like since we dig it, the water along with the tiny soil particles and everything, that also comes along with it. That is a dug well. Okay, but if we talk about the tube wells, it goes beneath that, it goes just very underneath the ground. Okay, that is the tube wells. Basically, how and like what happens through these wells? See, the traditional mechanism used to be that, a rope was tied around the bucket and it was thrown and then water was pulled out. But then again, this was again using a lot of manual labor, right? You have to go do this thing. So
Yeah.
pumps were set up. Okay. Wait, what is this? Can you hear something? I heard some noise coming. Okay. Yes. Just 1 second. Okay. Yes, I was talking about the tube wells, right? So the tube wells, they basically it can tap water from a deeper strata, meaning even deeper layer as compared to the dug wells. Okay. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you write down about the dug wells. You put dug wells and then you put a dash and you write down about it. It is a hole dug with a diameter with a diameter large enough with a diameter large enough to allow a man to work. Okay, it is usually 30 meters deep. meters deep. So is this thing clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is about tube dug well. Basically, these are cylindrical. Okay, they are cylindrical and they are, made by digging into the ground. Okay.
Okay.
You can write down that water is taken out. Water is taken out from the dug well with the use of a bucket. Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now write about the tube well. Okay, so if you write about the tube well, so you can write down these are pipes. Okay, these are pipes bored into the ground. Okay, so it is basically a pipe system. Okay, it is not cylindrical like how the dug wells were, but it is like a whole pipe is laid down, okay, under the ground, so that water from the underground, like water table. You understand what is a water table?
No, ma'am.
Okay, see, basically, when you like keep on digging the ground, okay, if you keep on digging and digging, ultimately you will find that under the ground there is a reservoir of water. Okay, there is a reservoir of water which is known as water table. Okay, it is present deep below the ground. Okay, so basically, when we talk about these tube wells, so these pipes are laid down under the ground so that water from the water table is taken out. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. That's clear.
Yes. So these pipes are bored. Boring, you understand? Boring means basically putting it under the ground. Okay. A whole mechanism is set up that way. So these pipes are bored into the ground to draw water, to draw water from the underground water table. Underground water table. Meaning in both the cases, we are actually taking the water from the underground, right? We are taking the underground. So is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. The first one, which is the dug well, it is used mostly in the village areas. Okay.
Yeah.
And it is not just used for irrigation, it is also used in household, like people drink it also. Got it?
Yeah.
Yes. But these tube wells, they are used for irrigation purpose. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Understood? Do you people have any doubts? Okay.
No,
Now
ma'am.
okay, very good. Now let us talk about the next one, the canals. Okay, let us talk about what canals are. Okay, so you write down this is an elaborate and extensive, okay, elaborate and extensive irrigation system. Elaborate and extensive irrigation system is okay. Extensive means it is complicated. It is not very easy. Okay. The setting up of canals, it is a very extensive, meaning a very complicated process, and it is like an irrigation system. Basically, this canal receives water from more than, you can say, many reservoirs, like for rivers. Okay, this canal is set up Now, this canal is set up in such a way that it would receive water from rivers and many rivers together. Okay, not just one. Okay, it has many reservoirs that will provide water to this canal. Okay, natural reservoirs like rivers. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes. So you write down that in this system, water comes from many reservoirs such as rivers. Okay, reservoirs are those water bodies that contain a lot of water, right? That will be known as a reservoir. Okay.
Okay.
And then see, if this is a canal, okay, so water would be coming from all sorts of reservoirs to this canal. Now this canal further has such divisions and it is laid out in the whole, you can say, field, so that it distributes the water evenly to every part of the field. Okay. So then you write down about it. The canal is divided. The canal is divided and distributed, and water is distributed to the whole field. Done. Now see, in this system where we were writing about all sorts of, you can say, the irrigation practices, you remove dams from it. Okay, you remove dams from it.
So there are just 4 methods.
There are just 4. Dam is not one. Dam is sort of like a water stopping method. It is not providing method. Okay, it is something different. So there is well, there are canal, lift systems, and then there are dams. Okay. So now we'll be talking about the river lift systems. Okay. So now you can put the heading as to river lift system. Okay. Now basically here we can say that what do you think will be the reservoir here?
Sorry, ma'am.
The river, right? River is the source of water, isn't it? So basically, for what happens, since if the distribution of the canals, if it cannot reach to the extreme parts of the field, then basically the water from the river is drawn and it is used to irrigate the whole field. Okay?
Okay.
Yes. So under the river lift system, you write down in the areas where the water from the canal system, okay, where the water from the canal system is not enough, comma, then you write down water is drawn directly from the rivers, directly from the liver. Why am I saying livers again and again? It's rivers. The water is drawn directly from the rivers for irrigation. Okay, this is when the canal system, the distribution of the canal system, when it is not enough, okay, it is not providing the water which is not sufficient, okay, then the direct water is taken directly from the river, okay, and this is used for the irrigation purpose. Is it clear? The river lift system is clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now let us move on and see what are tanks. Okay, the next heading is tanks. So basically, tanks, as like how we have in the houses, tanks are like big storage for water, isn't it? So water is basically stored in the tanks, and then it has an area from which the water will be released, isn't it? That is how we get the water in the whole house. Same goes for the tanks used in the case of irrigation also. So you write down, these are small storage of water, okay, it is used for smaller land irrigation, okay. Since it is like a small storage area, it would not hold a lot of water, right, as compared to all the other water methods, right? So basically it is for a smaller land that requires less water, so the water can be stored in the tank, and then from these tanks it can be supplied to the plants or the crops, okay.
Okay.
Any doubts up till now?
So, ma'am, the water in tanks is from rain or
Yeah,
anywhere?
yes, it can be rain. Yes, it can be rain. Maybe when it rains, the water is collected in that, and whenever it is needed, the water is taken from the tanks. Okay.
So only rain.
Hmm?
So if there's no rain, there won't be water in the tanks.
No, but apart from that, also maybe people collect water in these tanks through other methods also. Like since they are small, so they can be taken to the river, filled up, kept at kept at safety. Whenever needed, the water can be given to the land, and whenever not, it will be staying there. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
Okay. Now see,
Yes, ma'am.
very good. Now, whenever we talk about, like, see, water is very, very essential when we are talking about the whole farming system, right? Whole, like agriculture, water is extremely necessary. So basically, these irrigation practices have been checked again and again so that more and more water can be reached to the land, right? Sufficient amount of water would reach to the land, okay? Same way, like the dams, okay, dams are nothing but they are walls that are
Yeah.
built to check the pressure of water, okay. They are built so that not all the water keep rushing to the place, okay. So sort of we can say that apart from all these things, like apart from like we have done all these things, then whatever rainwater is coming, maybe that water is already watering the whole land, right, when it is raining. But what if we store that water, isn't it? Rainwater harvesting, that is the case, okay. Rainwater harvesting meaning the raining, when raining is done, then in separate, you can say, storage areas, the rainwater is harvested later for later on, right? So that when raining is not done, then those like harvested, the saved water from the rain, it can be used. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Any doubts up till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And apart from this, there is another thing that even if we talk about watering of the land, then excessive watering also will be very detrimental, isn't it? Because it would create a water logging situation, right? We can only drink water up till like how our body needs it, right? We cannot drink more than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Same goes for the plant also. Like for the case of plants also, the plants can absorb the water which is necessary to them. Beyond that, it will be very dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Now we will be, after this whole irrigation thing, we will be talking about the different cropping patterns that we have studied. See, cropping patterns, they come under organic farming, isn't it? Cropping patterns are basically nothing but like when you plant a crop in different manner. Okay, that is a cropping pattern. The pattern changes by which how we are planting the seeds. Okay, this is cropping pattern. Okay, it can be of many types. More particularly, the first one is mixed cropping. Okay, first one is mixed cropping. Then there is intercropping. Okay, apart from intercropping and mixed cropping, there is another which is known as crop rotation. Okay, crop rotation. So basically, we are seeing how we are going to put the crops so as to benefit us. Okay, this is basically done to use the maximum amount of land without making the land infertile. Okay, we want the land to be fertile and we want to derive maximum benefit. That is why we change the cropping method. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let us talk about, give the heading as to mixed cropping. Okay, let's talk about what mixed cropping is. See, basically, what do you understand by mixed? What is
Like
mixed?
whole crop is mixed, like different crops.
Mixing something is like when you take different things and you put them together and you mash them up, isn't it? Mixing is that only? Yeah. So if we are talking about the mixed cropping, basically here we grow 2 or more crops on the same land. Okay, for example, we are growing wheat. I'm just giving an example. And then in the same land, we will be growing another crop that is oats. Okay, so we are growing 2 different crops together on one piece of land. So this is mixed cropping. Is it clear?
Yes.
Like for example, if you want to grow wheat along with a gram, that is mixed cropping. If you want to grow wheat along with mustard plant, that is mixed cropping. Got it? Meaning when we are growing 2 different types, completely different type of crops in one piece of land, that is mixed cropping. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am, clear.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am, no doubt.
Okay. So you write down when two or more crops are grown simultaneously means at the same time, right? Side by side. So when 2 or more crops are grown simultaneously on the same piece of land, it is known as mixed cropping. Okay, this whole phenomenon is known as mixed cropping. Let us see what are the example. Example is wheat plus gram. Then example is wheat plus mustard. Okay, meaning you are growing these 2 different types of crops together. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Also, apart from this, there is another example that is groundnut. Sorry, Ground. Groundnut along with sunflower. Okay, this is known as mixed cropping. Okay. Now, why do we do this? See?
So it can also be sunflowers and potatoes.
It depends. Okay, we cannot just randomly choose any 2 types of plants. We have to see that one plant should not, actually deprive the other plant of the nutrition. One plant should not harm the other plant. We have to see which two plants are suited together. Okay, then we can do this. This is a whole planned process. Okay, we cannot just randomly put, for example, if I want to, I would put a mango seed here and then I'll put a guava seed here. No, we do not do that. Okay, it is a very planned process. Okay, now why do we do this mixed cropping? Basically, by doing this mixed cropping, we are actually reducing the risk of failure. Okay, so you write down mixed cropping is done. Mixed cropping is done to reduce the risks of failure of the crops. Okay, it is done to reduce the risk of failures of the crop. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Now, next we will talk about intercropping. Okay, this is the second method of cropping pattern, right? So we will talk about now intercropping. So basically, in the case of intercropping, what we will do, it is just like a mixed cropping only, but with a tiny changes. It is basically when you grow two or more crops simultaneously in the same field, but on different pattern. For example, if this is one land, so I divide the land. Okay, I grow plant type A in this particular land and plant type B on the half of the land. Okay, so I've divided the land and I grow like that. Got it?
Yeah.
Intercropping is that when you divide the land into definite patterns and then you do the cropping. In this also you can use two or more crops to grow together, but it will be distributed. The land will be distributed amongst them. Okay, for example, this particular row will have one type of plant, another row will have different type of plant. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you
So
quickly
mixed
write.
cropping is just
Yes.
so mixed cropping is just anywhere.
Yeah. It is like growing two types of land on same land anywhere. It is not in a definite pattern. No definite land area has been designated. But if we talk about intercropping, it is growing two crops one time in one land, but in definite pattern. Got it? So quickly write down about it that intercropping is the process in which we grow two or more crops on the same land in a definite pattern.